Welcome to another data video, or welcome to another data manipulation video for year 7 and 8. And so we've got a spreadsheet here, and we're going to start manipulating this so that this looks really nice. So let's have a look at what we've got. You've got up here maths tests, science tests, and data. The first thing is there's the maths tests, there's the science tests, there's the DIT tests. So what can we do to actually manipulate that? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to give a space where I can actually put a letter grade in here. So if I click on C, right click, insert, I've got this whole row or whole column that appears now right there. I'm going to do the same at science, created a new column there, and do the same at DIT. This just gives us the ability to manipulate a few things a little bit better. So we're going to call this grade, and we'll call this one grade as well, and we'll call this one grade. Okay, and just for the sake of it, I'm just going to take this and copy it over here, so it just makes it easier to deal with. So you can see I'm just going Control X and Control V to put it into the right spot. And now I'm just going to select just the science part, and I'm not going to do merge and center up here. I'm actually going to go over to general. Actually, I'm going to right click, go down to format cells, go to alignment, and in this case I'm going to go center across selection. This is the smarter way of doing it. So it does the same as merge and center, but it doesn't destroy the ability to maneuver and manipulate these cells. So we can deal with that with science the same way, not merge and center, but go format cells, alignment, and under horizontal, center across selection, press OK. And then the same for DIT, and you'll see with DIT it's got a few more things in here. So let's go across to there, right click, format cells, up to general and center across selection, press OK. Now I would like to have this part here a particular color, so I'm just selecting that, and we'll just give it a nice neutral grey blue. We'll give the science ones, just go down there, and we'll give them a nice neutral darker grey blue. And we'll go over to this last one, DIT2, go down and give them maybe a different color, maybe a grey. So slightly different grey. So now you can see very clearly where the different ones are. So I can make this go a bit smaller so you can see that, oh, I missed that one. Let's add that. Just select that. Go to the last one there. There we go. So now we can see very clearly that this is maths, this is science, and this is DIT. So what I can do is I could add all these grades up. So in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert another one in there. I'm going to insert another one in here and insert another one in here. Now what I do want to do is I want to make this one the darker blue. Make this one here the grey. So this is all just part of our manipulation so we can see what's going on, make it really clear. And this one here is going to be that light blue. And And what we'll call that is we'll call it score and score and score. Okay, so this here will be the average of this. So if I select here and say equals average, I can click on the word average and just select those three, close my brackets, and there is the average score. If I select down here, so go see how my mouse changes to a smaller plus sign. If I just drag that down, I've left clicked that to drag it down, it gives me all the scores average there. So the same thing here, equals average, and I'm just going to select those three, close the bracket, press enter, select that one, drag down, we've got the average there. And this one's a lot more, so again, equals average, select the average, and select those 5, press enter, whoops, let's try that again, equals average, select those 5, close the bracket, done, drag that down, and now we've got the average score of each one of those. You'll see that this one has got 73.6. This one's not a very satisfying one, 70.33333. So what if we select all of those and we go up to here and we just, oops, wrong one. See this one here? And now it's got down to 1 decimal point. I can do the same thing here. Go over to here, make it down. Oh, it's gone too far. Just do that one there. So there's our average there. That's pretty cool. So we can now do a VLOOKUP. So what this VLOOKUP will do is it'll look up this score, and then it'll look up, well, what is that score meant to be? You know, is 70 a B, is 70 a C? And it should put a C in there or a B in there, depending on what it was. So if I come down here, I can create a lookup table. And I can go 0, there's the first one, and then I can go 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. And so what I can then do is I can put the different grades in here. So this would be an A plus maybe. This one would be an A. This one would be a B, this one would be a C, this one would be a D, this one would be an E, and this one would be an F. So there's our table. I select that table, so I select all of those things on that table, and I go up to the name manager here, which is this where it says C35, click on there and call it grades. Press enter. Now, if I select over here, I can go equals VLOOKUP, all right? And I double click it, and what is it? It says, what's the value I want to look up? Well, there's the value I want to look up. I want to look up that value, and you'll notice how it's got a little comma in between each one of these things. We've got to add a comma to cement that in, so comma. And the table array, well, the table array is called grades, and I begin to start putting it in, and you can see it down here now. Double click, and what column is it? Well, I actually want the second column of this table of grades. So I'll go 2. And what do I want? I want an approximate match, because it could be 49 or 48 or 47. It's approximately the right value. So click on there, press enter, and you'll see that this comes out for a B. And if you have a look here, we've got a B should be 70, and we've got a B should be 70. I could do that a few more times, but the easiest way is to actually just drag that down. The amazing thing is that that is taking it from the value next to it. So if I go here, I can take it from the value next to it by just clicking on here, pressing Control C, going over here, pressing Control V, and you'll see how this is the same thing, but it's looking for H3. Excellent. And I just drag that down. So 48 should not be a C. Something's wrong there. And 50 should not be a V. Okay, so let's try that again. Equals Vlookup. What value do I want? I want that value there, comma, and I want the table of grades. The column index number will be 2 again, and it will be an approximate match. Press that, and that's making more sense now. Drag that down. And we might want to just change the color of that. That makes more sense. So why is this 48? This is 65. It's looking at that grade, not that one. And let's have a look over here. So if I select that, press Control C, I'm looking at 76, should be a B, correct, drag down. So these should be B's, B's, C's, absolutely correct, and just change the color back. And this gives us our grades. This is pretty powerful. Okay, what else can I do with this? See how Gunnerwood, see how it's missing a few things. If I go up here, in between the B and the C, double click on there, you can see how it's now fulfilled all of those ones. I can do the same thing over here. And I tend to do the same thing for all of the top ones. Now the big problem is that we've got this big gap on the left here and a big gap on the right. So what I might want to do is I might want to make all of these centered. So I select all of them and we'll go over to here to alignment and make it center. Just looks a little bit better. And then what I do love to do, I love to select all of these. I like to put little borders around them. So the way to do that is to select here and go to this little spot here and go to all borders. And it just puts in all borders around that. And then I select maths and I just put an outside border around that. And I do the same for science. And same for DIT. So this is looking a lot nicer, isn't it? Now what I could do is I could do some pivot tables from this. So you see how we've got all the B's and all those coming up, and we've got, you know, those are the values of that. You've got your score, etc. for each one of those. So what I could do is I could turn this into a table. So I'm just going to select this, go Insert, Table. My data has headers, yes. Press OK. Now see how it's messed it up. If I press Control Z, what I want to do is I want to just create a space in here so that this part will become my table. So there's my table. Okay, so I go Insert, Table. My table has headers, that is score, grade, test, etc. Press OK, and so it makes sense now. Okay, so you can see these things along there. And I could even just sort out, well, who's got A's, for example, filter just the students who've got A's. There they are. If I went again and I said, well, A's and B's, that's the ones with A's and B's. So that's just the filter of that kind of thing. So I select them all, I can get them all back. What I can now do with this is I can go Insert, Pivot Table into a new sheet, and I can go down to the surnames, drag it into rows, and all those surnames come over here. I'm now going to deal with the values. So the first one was grade, and it's counting the grade. So if I click on there, select that, I can get an average, but it's not going to work, is it? So that's dealing with grades. So what I could do instead is I could just get the test score. So I'll go sum of score, and you can see it pops up here. I can click on that one, and I can click on that one. And so this is maths over here, so I can call it maths. There, see. And I can click on that one and call it science. And this final one I can call DIT. We can see everything's coming up roses. Notice how this has gone back to that very strong value of 0. I can just make it smaller by selecting that. And this one, I don't really want it to be the sum. I want this one to be the average. Okay? So and there's the average, and again I can just make it smaller. There's the average, and this I want it to be the average again, so right click, I'm looking for the field value settings, and I'm looking for average, and this one I want average as well. Right click, field value settings, and go to average again. And this one, obviously too many point values, and so we've got it looking pretty good. And I could graph that by simply selecting somewhere in the graph, insert, and let's have a look at our graphs. Now, is this the right graph? Probably not. Is this more of the graph that we'd want? Probably, right? So if we click on that one and we can pull it out and we can experiment with these things, so you can see just at a glance who's getting the top scores. You can see, oh yeah, they've got the top scores, you know, etc. So we can see where the top scores are. That's the end of this video. I hope this was helpful. See you next time.